What's up, guys? This is going to be another heads up video on an article I read, which I thought, amazing. It was a really, really awesome article. My friend Oliver, we'll call him Oliver C. I don't want to give his last name out, but Oliver sent me an email with a link to a website, which is buckeyefirearms.org, and an article written by a Mr. Greg Ilifritz. And let's see, Greg is a full-time firearms and defensive tactics training officer for the Central Ohio Police Department. He holds instructor or master's instructor certifications and is in more than 75 different weapon systems, defense tactics programs, and police specialty areas. Greg has a master's degree in public policy and management and is an instructor for both the Ohio Peace Officers Training Academy and the Tactical Defense Institute. Bam! So the guy's got some credentials, and this is supposedly the data that's been collected from years. It's been years in the making, and this is supposed to put kind of an end or somewhat of a conclusion to the caliber debate. Okay, we all know it. 45 ACP is the best. No, 9mm is the best. I have a bigger, more powerful rounds. Yeah, but it's slower. But it's so big, it makes a big hole. You can only have 6 or 7 in your gun. Who cares? No, it doesn't make a difference. And then, of course, someone wheels in the middle. 40 Smith & Wesson, that's the best. I've always have tried to promote the idea of carrying a gun if you can responsibly do it. Hands down, period. I don't care, man, woman, where you live. If you can legally and responsibly carry a gun, why not? Other people out there have guns. Why not have a gun? It's not about being scared of the world. It's not about being paranoid. There's nothing to do with that. It's just, you know, evening up the playing fields. If for some rare reason someone points a gun at you, it'd be nice to know that you can point a gun back at them. It's really that simple. It's kind of cut and dry with me. I'm not trying to be all like everyone should have a gun, because there's plenty of people out there who should not have guns. I'm not the person to tell anyone else if they should have one or not. Okay, but if you're into the whole mindset of, sure, why not? Let me carry a gun. But you're not taken to an extreme level. You're not just some average citizen who thinks he's some kind of amazing gunfighter, because you can't be that either. That's another extreme. You can't be so for guns and so ready for like hardcore war all the time. You know, you have to be realistic. In my opinion, just my opinion, there's a compromise. There's something in between, you know, G.I. Joe and Peace Man hippie. There's a nice compromise in the middle. That's where I come in, and I think a lot of you guys too. Sure, I have a gun. No, I'm not looking for confrontation. Yes, I'm prepared. No, I'm not the most prepared. I'm somewhere in between, okay? So, now that that's been said, then the big question is, okay, I've decided to carry a gun. What caliber should I have? And then everyone's going to tell you their own personal opinion on what the best thing is, right? And people get very flustered and people get very defensive because, let's say, for example, you're one of these people that says, okay, you got to pick a 9mm. Why? Because you can have multiple rounds. What if you miss? I don't care how big your bullet is in the round. If it's not going to go on target, it's not going to be helpful. So you want as many as possible. That's a good argument, right? Now, if someone else comes to me and says, no, a 45 is better, that suggests that I'm wrong, okay? Even though it's just my opinion, they're suggesting like they picked the 45 because that's the best option. If I didn't pick the best option, I must be an idiot, or I must not know something that they know. And people get defensive because of that. They get like that's exactly what it is. It's defensive. Okay, it's a defensive mentality where you can't be right, because if you're right, that means I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong. And that's just kind of a silly way to look at it. But I think that's what happens, maybe not even consciously, but subconsciously. And some people just like to argue. And then, of course, there's a lot of people who agree the 40 Smith & Wesson is the best. And I briefly talked about this in my EDC video, so I'm not going to keep going over that and beating a dead horse. But what I will do is link you to this article, which is, in my opinion, coming from a very reliable source. And this is not, my 45 makes a bigger hole, and you're blah, blah, blah. No, this is actual data taken from people who've been shot. It's not some scientist with a micrometer, you know, shooting a round into a big block of ballistic gel. No, this is actual people with bullets in their body and blood and guts. And, okay, let's write this down and see what happened. And he collected all this information, and he collected the information of, you know, what caliber, if it was a fatal shot, all this type of stuff. And what he particularly wanted to venture into is shot placement as well. And there's a line here in the article. I have it in the background on my computer here. It's all kinds of charts and data and stuff. It's a really, really interesting read. It's not that long. It'll take you all of maybe 20, 25 minutes to read it if you read slowly. Um, but I thought it was really, really interesting. Okay, and it's showing. I mean, basically, the conclusion I got of this is, first of all, a handgun is always going to be a non-effective weapon compared to a rifle. Period, hands down. It doesn't matter if you have a hand cannon. Handguns are inferior weapons. Period. And I think any military person or any person with really a lot of training and a lot of knowledge understands that. And then a lot of times you'll get people who do know what they're talking about, and they will preach that. A handgun is just something to have in the moment. Okay, if you're going to war, you want a rifle. A handgun is a backup weapon. It's not your main weapon. But just as people, as citizens walking around, it's not practical to carry a rifle around. It's silly. It's a silly idea. It's just not going to work. So what we do is we carry handguns. And it's kind of like, it's the right tool for the job in this instance, because most cases where you may need to use your gun, you may not need some kind of excessive force. You don't need the AK-47 with the drum mag. You don't need the 50 BMG to take out the guy in 7-Eleven who's holding your wife hostage. Okay. So it's practicality. That's what it's all about. Handguns are easier to conceal. They're easier to carry. We don't need the full firepower. Okay. Just going about our daily life. What's really fascinating with this, like I said, is that it's actual fact. It's not someone shooting ballistics gel and making a conclusion as to what may happen. This is actually what happened. These are real people getting shot with real bullets, and all jotted down and in a format that you can understand. One thing just to note real quick, though, is when you're looking at this, it's very important. Some of the categories he has here are, for example, the first line is number of people shot. Okay. The next one is number of hits. Number of hits that were fatal, average number of rounds until incapacitation. You have to take all these numbers into consideration. For example, in the 22 caliber section here, there was 154 people shot compared to the 25 ACP section where there's only 68 shot. So if you're looking at numbers that are, these percentages are coming out with a higher overall number, you have to take that in consideration. So you can't look at this black and white and say, okay, because if you do look at it black and white, it's going to appear to be like a 32 ACP is better than 45. You have to kind of take that in consideration, is the total numbers. And you can do the math yourself to figure this out and kind of give it a round estimate, so they're all in the same playing field, so it's more easier for you to understand. But regardless, this guy, Greg, I think that's his name, right? Greg? Hold on, let me reference this again, make sure that's right. Yeah, Greg. This last name is Ellifritz. So I want to say Eli Fritz or Ella Fritz. Anyway, like I said, it seems like he's credentialed up. It's not just some schmo who looked on Google for 5 minutes and said, yeah, I can conclude. No, this is someone who's obviously in the field and has many, many years of experience, professional experience, and I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was really fascinating. If you have the least bit of interest in guns, or if you carry a gun, I think it's a good article to read. It's just facts, and take it for what you will. What I like about this individual is his subnotes on this small article basically say that the information here can seem misleading, but this is just fact. It's what actually happened. It's not a conclusion that's made with opinion. Okay, it's just facts that were bundled together for us to look at. So really interesting, and I truly believe because of the wording he used, it's an unbiased thing. He's not trying to pitch one kind of a caliber or anything like that. So just interesting. I thought it was fascinating. I thought I'd pass it on to you guys. Thank you again, Oliver, for letting me know about this. Talking about ammunition, this is the reason I'm kind of bringing this up is because I'm doing a book review probably later today on one of the most awesome books. Now, I did a review on the older version of this, and they came out with a brand new edition, and I am blown away by it. Just the revisions they've made have just been astonishing, and it's one of the coolest books for any gun library, hands down. And this is the fourth edition of the Ammo Encyclopedia by Michael Boussard. Okay, this thing is the Ammo Bible. It's put out by Blue Book Publications. This thing, it's amazing. So you will see a book review on this in the near future. What I really like about this is right off the bat, right in the beginning of this book, they have a section which shows you pretty much every known caliber on paper in its actual size, so you can compare them. Okay, rifle rounds, pistol cartridges, all kinds of stuff. just really fascinating. And this whole book towards the back, they have experimental ammunition that the military is using, and just every single thing you would ever want to know about any type of ammo ever. If you reload, if you're shooting competition, anything like that, this is a must-have book for your gun library, and it's beastly and it's awesome. And I thought the original was awesome, and they did even some better things on here. So I'll talk more about that in the book review. But anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of in the researching ammo mode lately, and this article I thought was really, really cool, and I want to thank my friend Oliver for it and pass on that little nugget of awesomeness to you guys. So the link will be in the description box. Again, the website is buckeyefirearms.org. I'm actually going to go back to their homepage and see what other articles they may have, because I thought this was pretty fascinating. So anyway, just a little heads up to all you guys on a cool article, and that's all. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.